the AP, the Tesla, and the concrete parking garage. Primer. Network engineer for multi-family stuff. Everything from helping tenants figure out their routers to configuring the actual network. Most of my job, however, is just educating people on the finer point of the internet. You know, your internet sucks because you bought a router from 2006. Or, you're not going to get 1G over Wi-Fi. Plug in if you want better speeds. If you complain about 750 megabits per second during peak hours, you're gonna get a brickin'. That type of thing. $me. Me. $to. Tesla owner. $PM. Property manager. Scene. It's a Friday. Your stunning network engineer $me is eyeing the clock, ready for their shift to end at beer 30. Suddenly the phone rings. Normally I don't take calls on Friday just before beer 30, but today was different. It's $PM. Says she has no signal in the parking garage. Odd. AP is checking into the controller, but I dispatch a tech to check it out. Tech calls back and lets me know it's working fine. Little spotty coverage in some further areas, but overall great. I call $PM back and let her know everything appears to be working. Monday. I come into a ticket from $PM. Wi-Fi still isn't working. This time I press for more details. Turns out $to isn't able to update his Tesla. I tell $PM that we verified it's working and I can see it working for other folks. I ask to speak to $2. It turns out this is unacceptable. To appease $PM, I send out a tech to install a LRAP just in case, and afterwards walk the parking garage with $PM. $me. Okay, so we walked the entire garage. You saw I had signal the entire time, correct? $PM. Correct. $me. So if $to calls and complains it's not on our end, can you make sure he gets that message? $PM. Yeah, he's not going to like it though. $me. That's fine. Q a week later. $PM is calling in again. $to refuses to speak with us, and is still having the issue. I have to really pressure to get it where I can meet to investigate and see if I can help. I finally get to agree to meet me on his lunch. When I finally meet $2, the issue is immediately clear. He found more or less the only stall completely surrounded by concrete. $me. Well, there's your issue, you're surrounded by concrete. Signal is great everywhere but here. $to. So you can't fix it? $me. There's nothing to fix. The signal is great everywhere but the one stall with giant concrete walls. Just park somewhere else. $to. No. You need to get this fixed. $me. Oh, you have assigned parking? We can talk to $PM about getting you a different stall. $to. No, I don't. $me. Then what's the issue? I don't see any Tesla charging stuff here. $2. I'm not going to park somewhere else and let someone ding my Model S with their car. I pay good money to live here and I haven't been able to update my firmware once. This needs to get fixed. $me. Sir, I can't change this. If you want we can see about running a cable and equipment to just where your car is. It'll be at least $6K because we need to penetrate a whole bunch of concrete. And that's if $PM agrees to it. Or you can park your car in a different stall. Your choice. At this point I informed $PM of the situation and the fix. Never heard back. Workaholics aren't your friend. I have a coworker who is terrible with time management, and therefore ends up working a lot of hours at home after working a full day in the office. She also works weekends. I wouldn't normally care about this, but she's wholly incompetent when it comes to technology and has a tenuous grasp on the English language. And yes, it is her primary and only language. I have been to her house multiple times to help get her home computer working on our corporate network so she can connect to all the resources she needs to do her job. Is this standard for a company to expect their IT employees to set up home computers? Anyway, internet issues and computer changes has sent me to her house more than a handful of times. I do it because I'm nice, maybe too nice. My company's resources are 100% in the cloud at this point, so we only have a VPN into the cloud network, which is literally up 99.99999% of the time. The only way there's a problem with the connection is if there's a problem with someone's home network or computer. So when this lady sends me a text saying she can't connect, I know it's nothing on my end. Yesterday, while I'm grocery shopping, I get a text from this lady saying, I can log into the system from home. Did you change something? I literally laughed out loud as I typed, no changes, but it's good that you can log in. She goes on to say she needs to place orders from home for a project, to which I respond, I'm not stopping you. You said you can log in. Then she sends me a screenshot of the remote desktop connection saying it can't connect to the server. The standard error message if you're either not connected to the network, or the machine you're connecting to isn't on the network or not powered on. Is your VPN connected? She sends me a screenshot of her VPN connection that says, connecting, and she says, yes, it's connected. Again. I laugh out loud and type, it's not connected. It say it's connecting. Reboot. She responds, okay, I'll reboot for the second time. Right. I believe that she already rebooted once. Sure. After a couple minutes I get, okay, I'm in. Literally a minute later, I get booted out. I respond, well, I can't do much from the grocery store. She says, okay, and within another minute, back in. I mean, I have to laugh, but I don't know if this is a matter of incompetence, or ADD, or what, but her inability to write things in their entirety is just frustrating. And the fact that it was multiple things in one conversation makes it all the more annoying. I can't connect to the K drive. The company I work for has 2 locations. One in the Midwest, where I work, and one in the West. We had a guy in the West doing IT for that location, but he quit in the second half of 2020. Since then, I've been remotely covering as much as I can. I had a guy that was able to help me to a point where I could walk him through most things he wasn't equipped to handle on his own. It was working well enough, but then he quit earlier this year. Now I literally have nobody at that facility that knows enough to help me. I get a call on my desk phone, which I rarely answer. We don't have a receptionist, just a lady that answers the phone and direct forwards calls. I get at least 3 cold calls a day from IT outsourcing companies, so I generally don't answer my desk phone. I've told all internal people to email or message me on Teams regardless. There are 2 or 3 people who refuse to use technology and call me anytime they have a problem. So I check my voicemail and it's a guy from our West location. He needs help with a computer. I call this guy back. He says this laptop they use for scanning labels into a tracking spreadsheet can't connect to the K drive. This K drive is a network share that's in our cloud service. I ask if the laptop is hardwired or on Wi-Fi. He says it's on Wi-Fi and I tell him that the Wi-Fi network there doesn't connect to the cloud service. so that's why it won't connect to that network share. He claims that the laptop has been on Wi-Fi for as long as he can remember and it was connected to the share the day prior. I explained again that it had to be hardwired to connect to the cloud network. But he wouldn't believe me. See, the guy that was doing IT at that facility, for some stupid reason, put the Wi-Fi router on a DMZ connection from our firewall and gave it its own subnet and DHCP address space. So that network is a completely separate network from the main network and can't access any of the company resources. It's basically functioning as a guest network only. So in order to get to company resources, computers have to have a wired connection into the various switches around the facility. It's smart and stupid at the same time. What gets me is that I remember someone working with me to set up that laptop for scanning. And I remember the file being on the laptop itself, rather than on the network. I remember telling the person that they could do that temporarily, but it had to be moved to the network for safety reasons, backups and whatnot. I can only assume that someone hardwired the laptop at some point to move the file. Anyway, so this guy refused to believe me, and before I could get him onto a remote assistance session, he rebooted the laptop and it wouldn't respond to anything at that point. I told him it sounded like the laptop was ready to die and I couldn't do much to help him. I told him to call me back once he was able to get the laptop running or some other machine he could use. It's been a week and I've heard nothing. Must not have been too important.